First adds healers on toes as lots of raid-wide damage from the water sprites. You will have to heal. Boss 1. Catarates, raid-wide. Reagnosis. Boss will create a clone of herself on the side of the arena. Head to the edge the clone is on to await a knockback. Flippis. Single group stack. Left, right, bank. Half arena AoE. Move to the opposite side of the boss to the cast name. Hydrotosis. Spread markers. Group fan out to avoid getting hit by 2. Right on. Line AoE tank busters. Don't stand near or behind the tanks. Terratis. Platform will transform, leaving triangle patterns on the floor. Blue triangles will expand to cover one triangle section on the floor. Keep moving into safe sections. Green triangles will cover 3 triangle floor sections. Dodge accordingly. Textratuous Cosmos. A triangle will be portioned off with light walls. Do not go in it. Instead, the walls will collapse, creating large AoEs in addition to the base doing damage. Position beyond the corner, facing inwards on the arena. Next, you'll get 2. One position similar to before, and one with one side facing inwards. Find the triangle positioned as the first round. Position the same as before, but now move further away to avoid the second triangle, which will send a line AoE through the centre. Reagnosis Petrine. Same clone mechanic as before, but this time there will also be 2 orbs to look out for, which will result in only one lane being safe to be knocked back in. Initially go to the centre of the side the clone goes to, then adjust to where the free lane is. Hieroglyphica. 2 safe spaces. However, all the markers will rotate 90% in the direction of the rotation indicators, so you have to envisage where the safe spaces are after the rotation. 1 free space is in the corner, which will go to the next corner in the direction of the rotation, and 1 on the inner lane, which will then be in the same spot on the next arena side in the direction of the rotation. You'll then get a second round of the same, but this time you'll get a right-left bank, which will resolve after. Ideally, you don't want to pick a safe square, which will end up in the far side of the arena, in which the boss will do the left-right bank. But if you do, pop sprint and move ASAP. Boss 2. Tempest, raid wide. C-form spiral. Donut, head under the boss. Windrose. Chariot AoE under the boss, move away as soon as you see the cast. Navigator's Trident. Boss will signpost 2 AoEs, one side quickly followed by the other. Move away from the first side indicated, while staying close to the centre, then quickly move to the other side after it goes off. There'll then be a large centre line AoE. Stand close to the edge of the dark grey marker, ready to be knocked back. Surging Wave. Stand on the edge of the purple circle marker, ready to be knocked back down the large lane created by the previous mechanic. Run back to the boss as soon as you're freed, dodging the water bubbles. Sprint not required, but handy if you're slow off the mark. Left to right straight, move to the opposite side of the boss to the cast name. Deep Dive. Group Stack. Torrential Tridents. Each will glow and then explode in a large AoE. Take note of the first and the last. Stand on the last one to drop a little away from the first one. As soon as the first one explodes, move to where it was. Then dodge some small ground AoEs and spread markers. Denizens of the Deep. Water effects on the outside of the arena will indicate 2 large lanes which the dragons will dash through. First, avoid while also moving away from the boss to avoid the Windrose Chariot AoE. Quickly look for the same indicators again for a second round of dashes, which will be followed by a left-right straight. Plenty of time between. There then will be a third round in a different pattern, with just a few small AoEs thrown into the mix after. God's Bane, multiple raids wides. Navigator's Trident 2. This time, after the initial 1 to 2 AoEs, there will also be Dragon Dashers, which will catch many people out to look out for, which will mean only one side of the large centre knockback is safe. Also quickly followed by Donut under the boss. This time, when running back to the boss, you need to run from side to side to avoid the 3 line AoEs as indicated by the boss. Boss 3. Sudden Downpour, raid wide. Trek Shot. Boss will indicate the ground AoE and also arrows showing his movement, which will change where the AoE goes off from. As it's a cone, move back to either side of where the arrows finish. Reproduce. Same but the attack done by the clone. Still just move to the sides of the final arrow's position. Flinted Phone, Group Stack, repeated AoEs. Soaring Minuet, quickly get behind the boss. The Arrow, large tank busters. Reproduce, this time with 2 clones. Identify where the 2 arrows finish and simply go to the corner between them. Downhill Climbing Shot. Head towards the boss while identifying a safe spot between the ground AoEs to be knocked back into. Lofty Peaks, lots of raid wides. Pit and Pull. Head to either corner of the arena which doesn't have a chain in it. These hurt. Altitude. Quickly identify a safe spot and then run into it. As long as you remember it, you'll have plenty of time after the markers go. Wandering Shot. Dash through the centre and then a large AoE on the side of the arena the orb is on. Move to either corner on the opposite end of the arena to the orb. Arrow Trail. Boss will send repeated line AoEs from front to back of the arena to dodge. Standing right at the back of the arena makes this much easier as you have more time to position between each. Downhill / Wandering Volley. Position to be knocked back from the centre dark red AoE. However, you need to be on the opposite side of the arena to the Wandering Volley orb, and you want to position to be knocked back into the spot between the AoEs on the edge. Final Trash Pack. Keep them as centred as possible and be on your toes to interrupt their casts, as when 3 are up, there are very limited safe spots to avoid their attacks. Boss 4. Dawn of Time, raid wide. First, second / third form. Each cast bar will have the boss's animation indicating an incoming attack. Arms at either side will indicate arena AoEs on that side, or this circle pattern will indicate a donut AoE to get under the boss for. At the same time, arrows on the ground will indicate the boss's movement / positioning for each attack. Boss will be facing towards each light beam for each of the attacks. So here, we can expect donut under the boss, left cleave, and then left cleave again. Let's see that play out. Sunbeam. Tank busters, everyone else stay away. The Whirl. Huge raid wide. Love's Light. Full bright. 4 moons. These will light up at descending speeds. Stand on the side of the moon, which starts off the fullest and is filling quickest away from the others. Once it goes off, rotate towards the other moons. Solar Fans. Avoid the initial line AoE. Then monitor the fire orbs, which rotate around the arena 4 times. When they stop, they will create large AoEs reaching the centre. Once they stop, move to the sides without them. Staying close to the centre will ensure plenty of time to move when they stop if you lose track. Hydrostasis / Time and Tide. 3 sequential knockbacks. The one tethered to the boss will always change to the first one. So always initially move to the tethered one and position to be knocked back to the one which is initially designated with the single diamond. Quickly adjust between each knockback for the next. Hieroglyphicia / Hand of the Destroyer. Floor rotation the same as the first boss. This time, the boss's left-right attack is indicated by the orange and blue orbs near its head. This time, try to ensure you don't end up on the square on the far edge of the side with the blue orb, as that side will get the half arena AoE. Matron's Breath. The balls on the light beams indicate the order they will go off in, being the same colour ground circles as they go off, switching as needed. Torrential Tridents. Again, position at the last one that lands, and then quickly move to the first after it goes off. Destructive Bolt. Group Stack. Bigot Strike. Position at the blue circle to be knocked back, but be aware of the 4 conal AoEs indicated on the boss, which will go off from the position of the blue circle. So position to be knocked back at intercardinals relative to where the boss lands. Thousand Folds Thrust. Half arena AoE. Get behind where the target markers are converging. As above, so below / Climbing Shot. The blue and orange circles will indicate lines of AoEs in the arrow directions. The colours opposite to the colour of the sky on the outside of the arena are safe. So if it's orange like this, position to be knocked back into the blue AoE lanes. Soaring Minuet, get behind the boss. And finally, Eudaimo Nailsia, lots and lots of raid wides. All done. That was a blast. Absolutely stunning raid. Let me know in the comments what you think. Like and subscribe to complete the duty.